morning, ladies and gentlemen of the press, members of the Valley Boys Junkanoo organization, members of Paradise Games. My name is Brian Adderley. I'm the chairman of the Valley Boys Junkanoo group. To my right is Francisco Cupo, member of the Valley Boys management team, and the son of our late leader, Mr. Winston Gus Cupo. To his left is Mr. John Archer, treasurer of the Valley Boys. And to my right is Astra Nordich, who's the public relations officer for Paradise Games. To my left is Patrick Adderley, who's the deputy chairman of the Valley Boys. And to his left is Mr. Stephen Bain, a member of the Valley Boys management team, costume design team, and he's also the architect of our community center, which is just a few stones away from him. Behind me and to the sides are members of the Valley Boys management team, members of the Valley Boys music section, members of the Valley Boys costume committee, and key members of the Valley Boys organization. We're here today to announce a partnership, a joint venture between ourselves and Paradise Games Limited. Paradise Games has agreed to invest in the Valley Boys and in our future for the next 5 years by becoming a title sponsor of the world famous Valley Boys Junkanoo Group. We will not drop the name world famous because we are world famous, but as of today we'll be known as the Paradise Games Valley Boys. The investment that Paradise Games is going to be putting into the Valley Boys will be used for 4 distinct purposes. 1, community outreach. As I mentioned earlier, Mr. Bain is the architect of a community center that we have on Clarge Road. Some of the funds will be used to finish that community center and to be the focal point for our community outreach programs. We're also going to partner with Paradise Games on some joint ventures on education. Right before us is the E.P. Roberts Primary School, which Paradise Games has adopted as its school of choice in this area, and we're going to assist them with whatever programs they have started in that regard. In this area, the Anglican community and in St. Cecilia, about 50% of our members hail from this area or live in this area. And so we are very familiar with what Paradise Games is doing and what the Village Pub is doing in this area, and we want to thank them for that. And we're going to be working in this community using our community center as our outreach program, for our outreach programs. Thirdly, culture in the Bahamas needs a boost. And with this investment, we will be able to make a significant contribution into the development of cultures throughout the Bahamas. In order for culture to be successful, there needs to be investments in the culture for it to be sustained. For a long time, the creative arts have been crying for assistance from public and private sector companies, and Paradise Games has stepped up to the plate today to assist us in making our contribution to culture. In that regard, a significant portion obviously will be put in towards our Junkanoo development and our preparations for the upcoming Boxing Day parades. Paradise Games, by making this investment, is showing their commitment not only to culture, in this case Junkanoo, but also to the Bahamas. Over the last 18 months, there's been a lot of talk about what is Bahamian culture and what do we need to do to improve Junkanoo. There's been a lot of talk, but Paradise Games has stepped into the plate with this investment, and they're going to be assisting us in that regard for the next 5 years. So on behalf of the Valley Boys Junkanoo organization, I'd like to thank the representatives of Paradise Games for this investment. I want to assure them, I want to assure the members of the Valley Boys, and I want to assure the public that the funds that are being invested in us are going to be used for the purposes that they have been earmarked, and we're going to manage those funds with good business practices, and the professionals that are in our group are going to help us to do that. With respect to the upcoming parades, we've been struggling all this year to find funding to get to Bay Street, but with this investment, even though it's coming on the second day in December, it should help us to finish our costumes and to do some other fine-tuning we have to do. Junkanoo is voluntary. We don't get paid to do Junkanoo. As the guys to my left and right would say, Junkanoo is free. These men and women that are here, they volunteer their time and they fund their own costumes and they fund their own activities in Junkanoo. So this investment is not here to pay them for their services, but to take some of the pressure off of them for having to find materials and finishing items to finish their costumes. So once again, I want to thank Paradise Games for this investment. I want to ensure our fans and supporters that the Valley Boys will be ready to go on both Boxing Day and New Year's. But also, starting next year, we're going to be doing more than just Junkanoo on Bay Street. We're going to be taking Junkanoo to the world, first throughout the islands of the Bahamas. We have a Paradise Game as a facility, and next to the world. In order for Junkanoo to grow, we need to give it the proper exposure that it needs. And with this foundation that we're now going to receive from Paradise Games, we'll be able to take Junkanoo to the world and let it fit into all the worldwide festivals where it should be. One last note, the Valley Boys will be performing at halftime at the Popeyes Bahama Bowl on Christmas Eve. That game is going to be seen worldwide on ESPN. It will not only give exposure to the Bahamas and to the Valley Boys, but will also help to propel Junkanoo where it has to go. So I want everybody to be very clear as to what this relationship is going to be. It's not just going to be for Junkanoo parades on Bay Street. We hope to take it to the next level. We've been saying that for a lot of years, but this investment is going to assist us in taking Junkanoo culture, education, and community outreach to the next level. I'll ask Ms. Nottage and Mrs. Nottage, and some representatives from Paradise Games to say a few words, and then I'll open up the floor for questions, and you can have some interviews with some of the other members that are here. Thank you very much for coming.
Good morning. As Mr. Adley said, and I just want to reaffirm some of the things that he said from Paradise Games. When the opportunity came to work with the Valley Boys, our board of directors and CEO chose this opportunity because we thought it was a perfect fit. We both see this commitment as a perfect alignment for Paradise Games, as we both share our passions for Bahamian culture and the pursuit of excellence. Both organizations expressed a desire to work towards achieving common objectives. The promotion of Junkanoo worldwide, as Mr. Adderley said, sustainable cultural development, and community outreach and education, which is our staple charity. This sponsorship deal ensures Paradise Games will have an even more positive impact in the way of bolstering and preserving historically, culturally significant events, depending on our connection with our customers and further establishing our brand as a leading local gaming entity with a strong philanthropic presence. Again, we're proud to be partnering with the world-famous Valley Boys, now the Paradise Games Valley Boys, for the next 5 years, and we look forward to this partnership.
Yes, I must say, it would be remiss of me to say this. I'm sure Paradise Games had a number of other Junkanoo groups that they could have invested their resources with. But I'm sure if they looked at our winning numbers and our winning record, they would know that an investment in the Valley Boys is not a gamble or a bet. It's a good investment that will return for them. So I want to thank you very much. I want to encourage our fans and supporters to support the Village Pub and to support the entertainment that Paradise Games provides. I want to thank you very much for coming, and we're open for any questions that you may have. Before I do so, let me just thank these members who are here present today, who've taken time out of their busy schedule, because without them, the Valley Boys wouldn't be what it is today. As I said, these young men and women volunteer their time. They volunteer their time and their skills to make this organization what it is today. And yes, we're now going to be getting some financial assistance. Without the human resources, without our membership, we would just be an average Junkanoo group. We have the best talent in the world. We are going to continue to recruit the best because our motto is dedicated to the pursuit of excellence. And in order for us to be excellent, we have to have the best of the best. So I want to give these persons here a round of applause. You can ask me anything you want to ask except what we're doing on Boxing Day.